see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining in.
Well, good morning and welcome to episode 867 of the Lots Project Morning Show, where the coffee's strong, the opinions are stronger, and everything is always filter free. I'm Brian, your host, and it's December 15th, 2025. This morning I'm enjoying a fresh cup of FTO Blonde Espresso from foodforestfarms.com because life's too short for shitty coffee. At Food Forest Farms, your beans are roasted by real human hands using a clean stream air roaster. More than just a customer, your family. Get 10% off with code LOTS10, and shipping is always free. While you're there, check out C4 Club for even more awesome perks. Just a little bit more about that in a few minutes. C4 annual membership sale going on right now. So today got another packed show, that C4 annual membership sale, a roller coaster story about rock deliveries that may or may not exist, framing updates that could lead to floor plan changes, and whatever came to mind while tending the fire in last night's bitter cold. So grab your coffee, smash that like button, and let's get started. Good morning. Good morning. It's morning, I guess. It's been a night, guys. That's for sure. Currently sitting about 13 degrees. Let's see. That would be 13 degrees Fahrenheit here in southern Tennessee. A little chilly, I'll tell you. It is definitely a little chilly, and with our tiny little wood stove, it was one of those nights that we get to get up in the middle of the night and fill the stove over and over and over. And actually, I ended up staying up. I pulled the 9. What was it? I think 9:45. We're down to getting up every hour and 45 minutes between the two of us. So if we let it go, we can get a little over 3 hours if we alternate get ups. Good morning, Hunter, over there on Twitch, and everybody else that jumped in early on YouTube. Didn't see you guys before I started the show up. Let's say hi to everybody. I'll get back to that wood stove. Pip, good morning, humans. Rewilder Life, good morning to you on this Monday. Yes, it is Monday. And Mike's Homestead, good morning to you. Anyway, so hour and 45 minutes gives us enough leeway that we definitely have coals in the stove, so it isn't a huge deal to throw some wood in, and it'll kick back off. Stretch to 2 hours, and if you sleep a little too long or alarms or have problems, then it can get to a point where all the coals have kind of died out, and then you're trying to restart the stove in the middle of the night, and that's no fun because this new wood we have that I've been getting recently starts off pretty easy, but some of the stuff we've had in the past, you got to kind of babysit it for a little bit to get it rolling. So definitely don't want to lose that coal base and get it started. So we've come to a conclusion that an hour and 45 minutes guarantees that. And yeah, Corey had to work this morning, and so we kind of we planned backwards from the time she had to get up. And so I decided, we came to the conclusion that I was going to get the 9:30. She goes to bed at 8 o'clock. I was going to get 9:30 and 11 or 9:45 and 11:30. And then I was going to go to bed and then get up at 3 instead of going to bed at 9:30 right after I did it and have to get back up. I just stayed up till 11:30, which, guys, if you know me recently, I don't really take it past 9, and I'm sleeping in the chair. So 11:30 was definitely a late night for me, and then I got up about 3 in the morning to stoke it back up, and now here I am. So sorry if I'm a little out of it this morning, more than normal. Normally out of it in the morning, but this one is a little more than normal. So, but the fire stayed rolling. We kept it semi-reasonable in here. Corey's got her little space heater back in her room because we have a tough time getting the wood stove heat to flow behind it. We have one of the little eco fans pointing forward. that supplies most of the cabin, but Corey is behind it, and she doesn't get a whole lot of airflow back there from the wood stove. So she's got her little electric heater back there going, and it's chilly for sure. I'm fingers crossed that our pipes are okay. Everything makes it through till today. I think we get above freezing today and dip down slightly below tonight, and then the rest of the week, like we have 60s later in the week. So just a couple days to make shit a pain in the ass. So anyway, that was my night. Talk a little bit about it in more here later in the show. I was popping around looking for topics last night while I was waiting to fill that stove before bed. So, but anyway, let's get to the Bitcoin guessing game, the game that has no prize, but we do it just for fun over in the Telegram group. Every week after the show, I pin a comment and make my guess. I'll make my guess here during the show after we talk about last week's guesses, and we'll see who gets closest to the actual Bitcoin price during the show. So Bitcoin price today, December 15th, 2025 at 6:08 a.m. I'm showing $89,552 per Bitcoin, right there around last week's. I don't think we're not that much up or down. My little ticker tracker here doesn't give a. I suppose I could set it up in the settings to give a 1 week change, but right now it's just showing a 1 day change. And I know that we're up a little bit from yesterday, but I think week over week we're pretty close to what we were last week. So let's take a look at the guesses from the Telegram group. My guess last week during the show was 97,979. Yeah, that's not even close. About $8,000 off. Other guesses over in the chat. John Palmer was just below me at 98,765. Canadian Farmstead 99,500. Everybody was rolling it in the upper 90s. Blueberry, Texas 96,500. Palm Tree was right there at 95,000. And our winner, back to winning. Missed last week. Canadian Farmstead stuck in there last week with a win. Prior to that, Scramblin' had 2 weeks in a row. And again, this week, make it 3 out of 4. We got Scramblin' coming in with 93,500 for the guess on the Bitcoin price. He was just about $4,000 off. There's definitely been closer, but this one wasn't bad. So congratulations, Scramblin'. You'll win your prize of nothing. I'm going to guess going after the interest rate hike and going on a little pop and back down. And I think my guess next week will be, let me see, 97, 90, 89, and 94, 321. Let me get my eraser here. $94,321 is my guess for next week. If you wait till after the show and pop over into the Telegram group at t.me/lots chat, t.me/lots chat, you'll be able to make a guess at the Bitcoin price. It'll be pinned up at the top of the message. Good morning, Mr. Brown. Kerry Brown checking in from Strong Roots Resources. Says, good morning, friends. Brisk morning, around 10 degrees. Yeah, we got 13 over here. It's enough of this. This is enough of this bullshit. I'm ready to get back to well above freezing. So we'll see later this week. 60s. I'm praying on that sunny and 60. I think it was on Thursday that I saw. FTO Blonde doing its job this morning. Thank you, Food Forest Farms. That's what I want to talk about. First thing this morning is the annual C4 discount from foodforestfarms.com. I will kind of tell you what the C4 Club is. Basically a monthly coffee club. Minimum buy is 2 pounds of air roasted premium hand air roasted coffee a month. That's your give to the club. That's what you guarantee or you promise to buy every month at a minimum is 2 pounds. That gives you a position. One out of, I believe, 100 still is the max out number of positions that are open that you can partake in. And you can buy more than that. You can buy more than that monthly. You can buy more than one spot, but one spot equals 2 pounds per month. And it also gives you access to up to, I believe, 50 pounds of white label or just add-on coffee at your club price. What's that club price right now? $60 off. If you buy 1 year membership is $480. That's $20 a pound. $20 a pound for Brian Norton's coffee over there at Food Forest Farms is a phenomenal deal. It's like I said, hand air roasted by human hands. It's not coming from a factory. It's not white labeled from Spotify. It is actually handcrafted by a guy that knows coffee. Done plenty of blends for me, done plenty of blends for the show. We've done several different over the years. We've put together blends. We've labeled them through the C4 program. And you can do that too. If you have an audience, you have a store, you have anything that you would want to supply coffee with your label, talk to Brian. Join a C4 Club membership. Talk to him. You'll design up a label. You'll design your roast. You'll get it bagged up, and it's yours. And just place your orders to get it called in. But anyway, every year around this time, it's now through the first of the year, Brian does a membership discount on the C4 membership if you pay for the year up front. Normally, it's $540 for the year, for that 2 pounds a month every month, so 24 pounds of coffee. And right now we're doing $60 off at $480 for the year. You can head on over to foodforestfarms.com. That's foodforestfarms.com. Look for the C4 Club membership sign up. He accepts fiat dollars, so your check card or whatnot in US dollars, also Bitcoin or Doge. He'll take your Doge and flip it into Bitcoin. So head on over to Food Forest Farms, sign up for the C4 Club membership, and start enjoying fantastic coffee every morning from foodforestfarms.com. Have trouble signing up, not finding what you're looking for? You can always email me at info@thelotsproject.com or check me out on Telegram or any of the other socials. Shoot me a message. I'll guide you through getting signed up for the C4 Club membership. I've been a member for, I think, going on 3 years now or more. It's got to be that long. And like I said, so many perks beyond just the fantastic coffee. The coffee in itself is a deal. Go check out actual good premium coffee and how much it costs. And also, while you're there, check out the bag sizes, because Brian sends out full pounds, and a lot of these other premium coffee companies are down to less than a pound bags as their normal packing amount. So be sure you check your weights and check your prices, and I think you'll find out that if you hit up this C4 discount, it will definitely you'll come out ahead. So foodforestfarms.com for the C4 Club sale. Sale goes through first of the year. And Brian also mentioned, if you're hearing this before Friday, let me see, that's 15, 16, 19th. I think it's Friday the 19th. If you get your order in for you or someone you know by Friday morning, if he can ship it on the 19th, he's able to get a Christmas package out for December's shipment. Normally it ships on the 15th. He's willing to ship it out by the 19th to make it by Christmas. He'll wrap it up nice and you can give it away as a gift. Other than that, you'll probably end up swinging into the middle of January for the January 15th shipment, unless you talk personally with Brian and try to work out December for later in the month. So sale goes through the beginning of the year. We'll talk about it a couple more times here before the end of the year, and I think it's the best deal in coffee. So check it out, foodforestfarms.com. I'm happy. I'm happy I have that Food Forest Farms this morning. I'll tell you one thing that switching to air roasted coffee in general, and not just necessarily Brian's at Food Forest Farms, but air roasted coffee in general, I've talked about it a few different times on the show. I actually did a whole episode on the differences between air roasting and drum roasting. And if you recall that, if you've been listening that long and you remember, air roasting heats up the beans and roasts the beans on kind of a pad of circulating air. So it kind of levitates. It's kind of it's like your old air popcorn poppers, where the air kind of circulates around the beans and warms it up. There's no contact on a heating element. Like in a drum roaster, you got the beans rolling in a drum, and that keeps them uniform. It supposedly keeps them uniform. It keeps them dropping, but that metal drum is heating up, and that's charring the outside of the beans. Have you ever gone to Starbucks? Have you ever had some drum roasted coffee and said it tastes burnt? It's not burnt. You can tell it's not burnt, but it just has that charry, burnt flavor. Well, that's from the drum. That's from the drum heating up the outside of the coffee beans and leaving char. And when you make the char, it all ends up going through the brewer and into the coffee pot. So air roasting doesn't have that. One thing that helps with is acid reflux. It helps with that burning, that that gut rot after you drink the coffee. I've been drinking this air roasted coffee long enough now that when I go to a restaurant, I try to have a cup of coffee. It just doesn't. I can't even do it. A, it tastes like crap, and B, the acid reflux, the gut rot after is unbelievable. So give air roasted a try. And if you don't want to sign up for the whole year, if you just want to give it a try, you can surely use that 10% off and the free shipping with code LOTS10. So check them out today, foodforestfarms.com. It's been a week, guys. It's ups and downs all around. It's exciting. We had some progress. We have a little bit of progress. We had a one wasted day I'm going to talk about here. So we've been waiting about 7 weeks since they started working on the road. So little backstory, if you don't listen to the show, if you haven't listened to the show before, easement road back to the property we're putting a cabin on. Dirt road, the property developer that put in all of the stuff, he bought the property, he broke it down, and then he put an easement road down the middle, and the properties go around the outside of the easement road like a kind of like a long extended horseshoe. It's not a cul-de-sac, it's a half-mile long cul-de-sac, I guess. Hold on 1 second, guys. I'll be right back with you. All right. So it's like it's a half-mile dirt road, definitely hilly, to say the least. Some pretty big ups and downs and curves back there. If you've driven back there, you know what I'm talking about. And the gentleman that put it in, the original developer there that put it in the easement road, whoever he hired or whoever did it, I don't think they knew. It was probably the lowest bidder. Let's put it that way. And there's been issues since the beginning. Well, one of the property owners there actually, for a living, does dirt work, and footings and all sorts of different stuff, but runs equipment and does dirt work, and had started, before we were even out there, had started doing a little fix-it jobs on the road, kind of putting culverts where they were supposed to be, not where they had ended up. And I guess originally, as the story goes, this was before I was around, but when they cut the easement road in, they didn't even put any culverts in at all. And then when they did put culverts in, they just came out and kind of put them randomly wherever. Most of them had been moved. There was one that still was in the wrong spot. That it was kind of humorous when you're driving out the road and there's a big puddle across the road. It hasn't rained in 3 or 4 days, and there's a big puddle across the road. And as you go through the puddle and over the puddle and start to go up a little knoll, there's a culvert across about 10 15 feet from the puddle. You missed is what that means. You didn't hit the bottom of the hill where you put your culvert. They also didn't put any drainage ditches on the side, so as soon as it rained, like the whole road washed out and things like that. So slowly but surely over the years, it's been being fixed, and since I've been going back there all the time to work on Tim's property and now kind of work on our property and the cabin, it's been more of a priority for us to get it fixed. And it seems as he fixes the road sections, it stays decent. There's some things that got to be touched up here and there, but you know, there's some pretty steep hills. It's a gravel road. It's a dirt road. And we get some crazy weather here. And you know, since he's fixed the road, the spots that have been fixed, we've gotten some pretty substantial rains. We've gotten some nasty weather, and they've held up pretty good. And so we talked to him, we pooled some money, and we wanted to get the worst of the stuff fixed. And about 7 weeks ago, he brought out a little bulldozer and started fixing the road, fixing basically the two worst spots left, two huge hills that were all kind of rutted out. They were super steep, and basically he was going to cut the top off of one hill and put it in the valley, kind of regrade out the other hill, put in drainage ditches on the side, and then we were going to bring in rock and put it on top, because the clay here is absolutely a nightmare when it rains and when it's wet at all. And these huge long hills, steep and long, just can't get up and down them with really anything. I don't even think four-wheel drive matters on the slippery clay. So that was like 7 weeks ago. Started messing around with it, and right after he did, we got a huge rainstorm. Of course, it was like the next day, and it's been off and on for the last 7 weeks. He gets out and kind of finishes the dirt work, but couldn't find any rock. Call. Talked to him about it this past week. It's just people wouldn't call him back, and finally he found someone to deliver some rock. We're getting 6 loads of rock for the road, and I still had another 2 coming to finish off my driveway. And so he found the 8 loads, and he says, "Hey, you're going to be around on Friday." This a couple days ago here. If you're going to be around on Friday, you come out kind of early. We're going to get started early, and you can show me what you want done at the top of the driveway, because we have enough rock where we're going to be able to finish our driveway cap, and then do like a parking turnaround area and a couple other things with how much rock we're going to have coming for us. And so you wanted to know where to do it, and then if we weren't ready to finish anything like that, where to stash it until it's time to do it. I'm like, yeah, man, I was planning on going out and doing some work on Friday anyway. I'll swing out early morning, mid-morning, and hang out. And I was hoping to get some video of the rock going in and him spreading it and things like that. So that was supposed to be my Friday. I jumped in the truck. I headed out, kind of wrap things up early here. Normally I'm pushing out about 10 or after. I wanted to try to get there about 9:30. He was coming from 2 hours away. Supposed to get there at 7, and he had talked to the rock guy and start rolling soon after that is what he was hoping. And so I get out there, roll out. He's kind of working on a section of road that he hadn't worked on, but really needed some attention. And it was right as you come into the property, right as you come into the easement road, and where I was telling you that the culvert is in the wrong spot. So basically, he graded out the hill and moved the culvert to where it should be, put in some drainage ditches there, and then he was going to use a little bit of the rock to recoat what he had done there on that first hill. So I'm watching him run skid steer. It's interesting. I'd like to get back into equipment again and start running and start doing that a little bit more. I ran a lot of equipment over the years, starting at 16. with a summer job and running a skid steer for the whole summer. And then all along the way, I've run all sorts of equipment. But it's been probably 8 years, I would say. Probably a good 8 years since I've spent any significant time in a piece of equipment. And so I would need some refresher. But watching him and how he did the dirt work was something that also I need to learn, because I was always in an industrial setting with my equipment operation. I never did any dirt work. I never did anything like that. It was always in a factory or at a job or on a job site. And so that was interesting to watch him. He kind of finished that out, and he came up, parked up by my truck, and was like, yeah, I heard from the rock guy. He said he's on his way here in a little bit, and we should be getting loads all day. And I was like, cool. And so we waited, and we waited, and we waited, and another neighbor came home early from work, and we're waiting, and basically I wanted to go get some work done at our place, but the rock guy kept saying, yeah, I'll be there soon, and I didn't want to drive back the half a mile. I wasn't going to drive back the half a mile because I didn't want to get stuck in if I needed to leave and they were dumping rock. And so I was going to walk back, and I was like, as soon as I start walking back, they're going to start showing up. I'm going to have to turn around. It was one of those how long do you wait type of deals. And man, we got to like 2:00 in the afternoon, and we hadn't seen any rock. Basically dicking around, talking about the road, talking about the project, talking about deer we're seeing, blah blah blah, and everything. Just a wasted day. And it came to 2:00, and I was like, I gotta get out of here, man. I gotta go home. Gotta walk the dogs with Corey, and so I'm gonna take off. So I take off. It gets dark here, 4:30. 5:00. I was like, there's no way this guy's showing up with 8 loads of rock. It's 2:00. He's got like 2 hours. I don't know where the pit was. Mario didn't know where the pit was. He wasn't sure how far the guy was coming from, but he was suspecting he was probably going to show up with a couple of trucks at a time. But I was still like, man, that's a quick turnaround to get that many loads in. So I was hoping maybe something went sideways, and hopefully he'll be doing the whole thing on Saturday, because the guy doing the road work is going to be around with the equipment till Saturday, or till Sunday morning, actually. And so I get home, do dog walks, hanging out with Corey. I shoot the guy a message. I was like, hey, did any rock ever end up showing up? And he's like, yeah, we got a little bit of it. We got just under half of it. And I was like, oh, wow, that was more than I thought. And the rest will be coming on Monday. And I'm like, wait, Monday? It's Friday afternoon. The guys I guess they don't work on Saturday or Sunday. They're so busy that they can't get us our rock when they tell us they're going to. And now they're going to be there on Monday. Interesting. I asked him if he told them that he wanted, I asked him if he said he wanted more rock or a discount on the rock for wasting his whole day sitting around waiting for him. And he just kind of laughed and said that's not really how it works, which it would drive me nuts, I guess, if I was in that situation. I didn't have the clock running on a skid steer or be away from home, because he lives like 2 hours away from the property. Anyway, Corey and I were going to go out on Saturday morning, and so we got to see what got laid. Section. I mean, it wasn't all of it. It's not all done by any means. And but it is what it is. So again, this morning I'm going to head out. I don't know about as early today because of how cold it is. But at some point today, I'm going to head out, hopefully get a little video of them bringing rock in, and see where it gets finished to, and make sure everything is passable. Even if he has to skip some of the road, I need to get rock on all the uphills and downhills to make sure it can get in and out with the rain over the next couple of weeks. So I was excited. I was excited on Thursday when he said we were getting rock on Friday. I was excited to get out there on Friday. And as the day went on, and it was kind of like a sinking feeling of here we go again. Here we go again on this guy's just not going to show up. And yeah, that sucked. It sucked. I just want it done. Everything's a struggle. It just seems around here, especially when you're working with vendors and trying to get people to show up. I heard it when we first kind of traveled to the area, when we were going to SRF and talk to locals, and that was the biggest thing that I always heard. Nobody shows up. Nobody will show up. They either won't call you back, they won't return your calls, they just won't show up. They say they'll show up and they won't show up. They won't call you back. It was constant. And I'm like, I just don't know. There's got to be somebody that shows up. And as I've gotten here, as I've lived here and tried to interact with contractors and suppliers and things like that, it's true. It's don't show up. No contact, no showing up. It is kind of infuriating. So I've found a couple people that are pretty reliable. But unfortunately I only need them for a few little things here and there. So hopefully the rest of the rock comes in today and it does the road enough that we're good for quite a while for the winter, hopefully, and into the spring and survive the rain. We'll see about that. But anyway, the week had been dry before that. The week had been dry enough. It had not rained long enough that roads dried up enough that I could drive in and out. I walked in on Wednesday. Probably could have drove in on Wednesday. Thursday, I went in and got a load of firewood in the truck because I saw this weather that we're having right now on the forecast and wanted to make sure we weren't going to run out. Was able to cut up another large chunk of deadfall tree and throw that in the back of the truck. It's been working great this year. Haven't had to bust into any of the stuff I've been seasoning. And I would really like it if I could continue to burn this stuff in the Cubic Mini, where I can just slice rounds of it, basically like slabs off the tree to the right width, and then I bring it back and split it up here at the camper. Hopefully, I don't have to bust into the big 3-foot rounds I have seasoning from when I cleared the cabin site. I have a couple more deadfall spots that I've been eyeballing. I have quite a bit left in the 2 that I've been working on recently. We'll see. It definitely is nicer when we can drive the truck back there, and Corey and I didn't have to haul it out with the cart. So I did grab a bunch extra when I was able to have the truck in. And so I've been driving around with that in the back of the truck, extra weight. So yeah, that's fun. But during the week, I had some stuff to do on Wednesday out there. And then Thursday, I cut up a bunch of firewood and then got continuing on framing the cabin. So if you're in the Telegram group, I posted some pictures of what we got done by the end of Saturday. But on Friday, basically I was reworking the end sections of the cabin. So if you can picture a pole barn and you have your trusses running, let's say left to right, the 2 ends, the cabin is easy. It's been easy to try to figure out the framing in between the side walls, in between the posts on the side walls, because basically it's square, rectangular, square, flat across the top, flat across the bottom. The ends, basically I'm having to frame in 2 different sections. One section below the truss, and then a section from the bottom of the truss to the top of the purlins that the roof is attached to. And the way it's going to work is I'm using a 2x6 up until the truss, and then a 2x4 will fit next to the truss going up the rest of the way because the truss is a couple inches thick. And the bottom of the truss that I'm framing up against has an angle, a pretty significant angle, about halfway across, and then the rest of the way across, it really flattens out, but it's still about, well, I figured out it's just under 4 degrees of pitch on the bottom part of the truss at that point. So I'm having to frame up to the bottom of this and then also frame in windows under this monstrosity. So it was a lot of math. It was a lot of angles, a lot of measuring, a lot of dicking around to make things square, because you can't really check square against an angle. So basically, I'm checking square of the studs at the bottom, and kind of using math and measurement to figure out where they sit at the top. And the first attempt was not good. Nothing was lining up really. So I took Thursday and really took a lot of measurements. I had measurements from last weekend, not this past week, the weekend before, when Corey and out there had started it. I had measurements. I had done the math. I had figured out the angles. I remeasured some stuff. I verified my window height. That was the limiting factor for the whole cabin. Basically, was how high can I put the window and be below the truss on the end walls, because we wanted all our windows to line up the same all the way around the cabin. And this was the limiting. There's 4 points where the windows won't go up high enough, or weren't going up as high as we had hoped, a couple inches shy, but had to figure out that height to set all the easy windows in the actual square bays. So I took Thursday, really took my time. I also did a setup with the compound miter saw that I can cut these 12-foot boards by myself. Corey had been helping me, but if I was going to work when nobody was out there, I had to get some sort of runner set up to hold the ends of the boards where I needed it, and get it all lined up so they were flat and flush. So when I cut, everything was straight. That took a little dicking around, cut some angles, got everything kind of laid out, verified my sill height, and I got the steep half of that wall framed, kind of set up, and then I still had to tack it together and do the other side. So when Corey and I came out on Saturday, that's kind of what we went at. We were able to get that done, get that slid in underneath the truss. We were able to finish a wall we had started, and once I had that sill height of the rough-in for the windows, I was able to do that real quick. We got that one put in, and then we had already pre-cut. We had pre-cut all the top plate and the bottom plate and the studs for another section. Again, we were waiting on the window height, so I was able to cut real quick the rough frame out, the jack studs, the header, footer, cripple studs, and we threw together that other wall and got that put in. So it was a really productive day on Saturday, and got us to 4 sections out of 10 done of the 2x6 section, 2x6 framing sections that we have to do. So 4 on each, 4 on one side, 6 on the other side, because we have to frame in around the porch, the covered porch, and then 4 on between the two ends. And then I have to figure out what I'm doing up above with those trusses and framing out those with 2x4. So it's all a matter of just getting stuff to A, hold the windows and doors, and B, attach wall covering to on the inside. So it's no structural framing. It's basically lay it out so I know where I can hang stuff on the walls and mount things to the walls and put wall covering to the walls, and cavities basically to hold spray foam, hopefully. And hopefully we're not doing bad insulation. We'll see. we'll see on that. So have some figuring to do. Corey and I started to brainstorm different things where we're running into. It'll be an awkward framing around the inside porch. It's just non-traditional building techniques. So everything is we're looking at it, developing a plan, and reworking that until it works. So we're excited to get that done. So we got the 4 done, and then yesterday it was cold. It didn't get above freezing here. We weren't going to go work out in the sub-zero. We needed to stick around here, or sub 32, I guess. We were going to stick around here and run the wood stove all day. And Corey had some cooking to do, which was nice. She cooked some soup up, and it was nice to have the hot soup for dinner, and also helped keep it a little warmer here. But basically, we had a day where we did nothing, which was nice. Been a while. Between traveling to New York for my dad's funeral and working on the cabin and back and forth, it feels like we've been running. Even when we've been sitting, it's been recovering from the trip or whatever. And yesterday it was basically wanted to get some dishes done, wanted to get some soup made, and wanted to work on planning a little bit. And Corey said, well, what if we move the bathroom? What if we move the bathroom in the cabin? And I was like, oh no, here we go. I said, I'm open to whatever, as long as I don't have to pull out anything we've already done. I said, right now is when we need to do it. At this point, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 windows out of the 10 were set. Weird. We have 4 of the sections done, and we have 4 windows done, but one section has 2 windows and one has none. We got 10 windows left. We got 6 windows left to go. Sorry. 6 windows left to go. I said, as long as we don't have to tear out or move any of the windows. So we had 4 windows locked in. We had and the other things that were kind of locked in were the 2 doors. We picked the swing. One swing's right hand swing and one's a left hand swing, just because where they were going to be sitting and what they were going to be around. And she said, well, we stayed in the cabin in New York, and I really like that open room. I like the bigger open room and into the kitchen. And she said, well, what if we did some rearranging? What if we talked about this, that, and the other? Let me draw some things out and see what you think. And I'm like, okie dokie. Okie dokie. It wasn't bad. She laid something out, and significant changes. Basically put both of our rooms on the one end and the bathroom in another corner, and everything else was open. Kitchen and living room were pretty much open. There was like an island. I don't know. It's not an island. Peninsula countertop, like a breakfast bar type of thing, and a couple couches and the wood stove, and it really kind of worked. I think it actually more than kind of worked. I like it. I told her that I got to walk it out actually in the cabin, go out and lay tape measure on the floor and really get my bearings on. It's easy to see it on paper, but once it transfers into the physical space, sometimes it just won't work. But I think as far as any utilities, water, electric, anything like that, that stuff will, what the fuck? Sorry. I thought I was getting a message about the show, and not even close. Not even close. Anyway, I think it's actually might end up being beneficial to the design as far as the water, electric placement, and things like that. We will end up probably moving the outdoor shower that we were hoping to have on our porch that was undercover, our little indent porch under the roof. We'll probably end up having to move that out to exterior on the side. We'll just build a little shower over by on the one side, just because we're moving the bathroom, and that was why it was going to be so convenient. Was it was just going to share a wall with the shower in the bathroom. We were going to put one on either side of the wall. Not a big deal. It actually gives us more porch room for chairs and dogs and things like that. So I think it'll be a good plan. Hopefully it'll work out. It'll work out good, and Corey and I will be able to make it work with working next to each other and both talking at the same time. We'll just end up having to probably insulate pretty well in between the two rooms. So I'm excited to get out there. I think Corey's on a short week this week, so I think Friday we're going to be able to get out and lay it out. I think this week, during the week, I have a few things I gotta take care of. I gotta get some strips of subfloor laid in a couple places where we're gonna be putting bottom plates of walls, and I want them to sit level, just where the 4-foot sections of drywall didn't, or subfloor didn't reach. So little things like that, nothing crazy. And then maybe fingers crossed, start working on my biochar retort that I have all the supplies to do. It needs to be put together and fired up, basically. So I'm hoping to get a little bit of time to work on that Wednesday, Thursday, and like I said, get the rest of that floor done. The floor is done, basically. That will be inside the walls, like on the interior of the house. There's just some little blocking that needs to be done to so I can continue to frame some of those walls. So we will see what happens this week. I also got some videos that I need to record, product videos and stuff like that. So that's kind of where we're at with the cabin. Slow but sure. I kind of had a feeling at some point we might take a look at the floor plan. I was happy with the floor plan that we were going to go with. But you know, I've been with my wife long enough, and I've been with me my whole life, and I just know that things change, and as we think about it, and that trip to New York and the cool little cabin we stayed in, it just kind of changed minds, and so we'll see how that goes. We'll see how it goes. Like I told her, this is the point to change it right now. Because after the windows are all roughed in and after the doors are roughed in, it'll be hard to rearrange where interior walls land and things like that. So when you're dealing with a small space, things got to be planned well. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Let's see what else on the list here. Rob Reiner died. Rob Reiner was killed. I saw that last night. Was sitting here waiting to fill the stove, and just looking at some headlines, and it was like Rob Reiner's wife found dead. Or no, the first one was 2 people found dead at Rob Reiner's house, and I'm like, well, was it him, or were there just 2 random people in his house that ended up dead? Then the next headline, after I refreshed it, it said his wife was found with someone else, and then eventually it was Rob Reiner and his wife, and that they had been killed by their son. So I haven't really dug into the story. That's just something that I saw. Rob Reiner, way back to All in the Family, Princess Bride, This Is Spinal Tap, and more and more and more. It's a long list. I'd have to go to the his IMDb page to check that out. But that was interesting last night. I mean, the kid, from what it sounds like, the kid had struggled with his addiction his whole life. Weird, growing up in a Hollywood family, somebody who was addicted to something. But yeah, looks like Mr. Reiner and his wife are deceased now. Beyond that, I guess Corey and I watched. What did we watch this week? We watched a little bit of Black Mirror. That's on Netflix. Not. I'm a fan of the stories. I'm not a fan of the British accents. I could do without that. It's not horrible. It's not horrible. I can get through it. Corey isn't a fan of it either. It just makes it. It makes it. I'd rather just watch it in my native. I don't want to say language, but accent. But the stories are interesting for sure. Black Mirror, I think, has it's a little take on the Twilight Zone, but some interesting stories there so far. We also watched a whole docuseries on what were they called, the Rashishi, out in Oregon in the 80s. The guru that set up camp out on a 800, I think it was 800,000 acre ranch. 800,000 acres, right, Corey? The Rashishis. They built a ranch out in Oregon and basically set up shop, built a little city, and man, it goes through the trials and tribulations of what they were doing, what they were trying to accomplish, what the local people were trying to prevent them from doing. It's an interesting story. I recall seeing the guy's face. I recall vaguely the story. So this was in the early 80s. So I was like 5 years old. So I obviously wasn't following this live. But I think he's become a pop culture icon. The picture is very recognizable. But the whole story behind it and how everything went down was definitely an interesting story. So that was over on Netflix. I don't even remember what that one was called. Corey just picked it and I watched along. It was pretty good. So anyway, other than that, I don't got a whole lot, guys. I was just pretty beat yesterday when I was putting the show notes together and wanted to touch on our rock delivery and getting that framing done and the coffee sale. Oh, anyway, I could talk about some of the products I was talking about this week for getting gifts for Bitcoiners or people that you want to onboard to Bitcoin or maybe already are into Bitcoin. And the first one is the Blockstream Jade and the Jade Plus with that huge 21% off sale through December. And also the fact that that'll stack my discount code, my extra 10% off will stack on that 21%. So, man, hardware wallet for a Bitcoiner is essential, I would say. If you've been in Bitcoin any length of time and you've accumulated any sort of stack or you plan to in the future, hardware wallet is basically security essential. It's like putting a padlock on your bike. Actually, it's more than putting a padlock on your bike. It's like putting your bike in a garage that's locked down with plenty of padlocks that only you can access to use your bike. But it's also a great tool for onboarding folks. The Blockstream Jade and Jade Plus are both set up to where they are easy enough for a beginner, are super easy to use. The Blockstream Green app on your phone, which it works as a software wallet, or the interface for the hardware wallet. It's intuitive, it's easy to use, but it has enough security for seasoned Bitcoiners are okay with it, and the customization and things like that. You're not going to get an OG Bitcoiner that's going to be upset if they got a Jade. Another way you could use it is to start your kids off, start your nieces and nephews, start your grandkids off with Bitcoin, teach them how to use it, have their own wallet, show them how you're adding funds and sending funds and make it a game for them. Thought that I've been brainstorming that for a while. What a great way to bring kids into the fold when they're super young and can start early. So the Blockstream J Plus links for that are down in the video description and the audio description. That 21% off holiday sale, and then the 10% the Lots Project code discount also on top of that. I appreciate that. I'll learn a little commission on that. Something else I put out there for Bitcoiners or people that it's a book. It's called The Bitcoin Standard. I have it right up here on my shelf. Yeah, it's gonna drop a bunch of shit on the floor if I try to take it out. But The Bitcoin Standard is a book that really opened my eyes to why Bitcoin is powerful, why it's important, history of money, all sorts of things. You think the Bitcoin Standard, equate that to the gold standard, is the play on the title. But for yourself as a read, as a something that will help you understand Bitcoin more, or a gift for somebody that's always asking, well, what is it? Why is it so special? What's the deal with Bitcoin? You can give them this book, and I think it will clear a lot of things up, or at least send them down the rabbit hole to find out more. I'll get a link in the video description for the Bitcoin Standard on Amazon. I'll throw my affiliate link down in the video description on the audio description when I do the show processing. I'm just grabbing a note here so I can remember to do that. I don't have a pen. All right. Anyway, so Hunter says, warning, that book will piss you off. Why did that book piss you off? How you've been manipulated? I don't mean to piss anybody off. That's not good. So Blockstream J Plus, Bitcoin Standard. If you got a Bitcoiner in your life and you just don't know what to get them, and you're shopping in that $100 to $150 range, you could also check out the Gamma, the BitAxe Gamma Solo Miner. It's basically it's a lottery ticket. Every 10 minutes. I've talked about it on the show before. It's a little solo miner, not very much power, not very much hash rate. You can't count on mining a block, or it's really not even that. It's not that efficient to. It's not that efficient to run it in a pool. I don't know. By the time you run through the thing, basically I look at it as a learning tool. It spurred me to learn more about mining, and it's like I said, every 10 minutes, every block, it's a lottery ticket that you might solve the block solo and end up with over 3 Bitcoin as your reward. But I look at it as more a tool for securing the network, distributing the network. It's another piece to the puzzle of making Bitcoin even more secure. And then also, like I said, the rabbit hole you go down learning about mining and the statistics and watching the interface with it. Hunter says, how much is that thing? Hold on one second. I can tell you exactly how much it is through the source that I suggest you buy one. Solo Satoshi. The BitAxe 602 Gamma Bitcoin Solar Miner is $104.98. Let me get you a link. They also have other solo miners that are getting a little stronger, a little more efficient, a little more powerful. This is the one I've been running, and it's cool. It's like, I think 30 watts. I think it takes 30 watts. Of power to run, and it's pretty quiet. I actually had to turn it off. Hunter says there are scams out there. Yes, there is. So buy it from a trusted source. I trust Solo Satoshi. I've interacted with the guy that runs that company. I've purchased mine from him. I'm an affiliate. I'm affiliate through them, and you might find it somewhere cheaper somewhere else. Same with the Blockstream wallets. Buy it from the source. When you buy a hardware wallet from Blockstream, the box comes with like the hologram security seals on it. if you're opening something Bitcoin related that has any sort of computer chips, is going to do anything accessing your wallets or anything like that, make sure there's a seal on it. Most reputable companies, most reputable products are going to have some sort of seal on it. Don't get scammed. Buy from a trusted source, and if you're not sure, reach out to me. I'll let you know if I've heard of them, and if I would trust them. So you can always email me or catch me in the Telegram group at t.me/LotsChat. So the BitAxe, the BitAxe, the Bitcoin Standard, the hardware wallets. I might come up with some other Bitcoin related holiday gifts here in the next week or so, or I might put together a list of something else. Getting kind of close to Christmas to be putting out these lists. Had a little bit on my plate last month, so hadn't gotten around to worrying much about affiliate stuff. But anyway, I'll get those 3 links down in the description, and when I process the show and get it out. Otherwise, you can find that Solo Satoshi link in the comments of the YouTube stream. Other than that, it's up to an hour, guys. I gotta get wrapping up. I gotta process the show. We gotta get the dogs walked in this bitter cold this morning. Looking forward to that. But hopefully warm up a little bit today. A little warmer tomorrow, and like I said, hitting the 60s by the end of the week. So okay, guys, it's another week. If you want to guess the Bitcoin price for Monday the 22nd, oh man, Christmas is next week. Holy shit. Time flies, guys. Time flies. If you want to make a guess, head on over to t.me/LotsChat. It'll be a pinned comment there. And like I said, my guess for next week is 94,321. See if you can get closer than me to the price. It's not very hard, for sure. Beyond that, I hope you are successful in everything you attempt this week. And you get a bunch of stuff done. And we will catch up with you again next Monday morning.